Well, here we are at our last Washington State Park on the Washington coast. We're down here in Cape Disappointment, the southernmost tip of Washington State, right next to the Columbia River outlet into the Pacific Ocean. This area has a vast amount of history with the Lewis and Clark expedition here and World War II. So we're going to explore the history on both of those, plus all the trails and other explorations we can have here at Cape Disappointment State Park. This, I think, by far is one of the best state parks we have here in the state of Washington. So bear with me, but there's lots to see here, folks. Okay, well, let's start the exploring. As luck would have it, we have another sunny, beautiful morning here on the coast. This is extremely unusual for a January winter day here in Washington. There's the North Head Lighthouse, and if you can look up there through the trees, you'll see the lightkeepers' homes. And then looking up that way is where the campsites are, and all those trees. Just walking shadows on the beach. Walking shadows. And this beach is extremely clean. It's really not of interest to beachcombers, but if you just like running on the beach, playing with your dogs, and wading in the surf, this is great. I climbed up here on top of the jetty, looking back at Waikiki Beach. You can see the Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center up there and the Cape Disappointment Lighthouse. And you see the jetty there, be the north jetty of the Columbia River. And it looks, if I can zoom up, as if there's a very large sea cave there, maybe a couple of them. That would be interesting, but no way to get there safely. An interesting fact to know is that before these jetties were built, the ocean came in much farther. You see how it's lapping at those cliffs there? Well, imagine it lapping at Mackenzie Head, directly up ahead of us. Therefore, all this land you see here is brand new, created by the structures of the jetty. The jetty caused all the silt coming out of the Columbia River, flushing into the Pacific Ocean, to be transported by the offshore currents, wave action, the tides, and the Pacific storms upland and downland to create brand new land. It filled in the coves, it built up the beaches, and basically pushed the ocean farther out to sea. And once this land was created, of course, the forest came in and wildlife came in. So what Lewis and Clark saw when they first climbed up to the top of Mackenzie Head there to survey the Pacific coast they'd just arrived at looks totally different to us. It would have looked much more like what you would see standing up on those cliffs, looking out over the ocean with the jetties gone. So we do transform the land, and in a very short time. Just thinking that since Lewis and Clark made it to the Pacific Ocean in 1805, in that short time we've created flight, space capsules, We've landed on the moon, soon to land on Mars. We've done it all in a very, very short time. The sad part, I must say, is that our technology far outstrips our humanity. We're down here at Waikiki Beach. I wanted to get a closer look at that sea cave. And it's pretty darn big. And here in the surf, there's a couple of brave surfers in their wetsuits. I imagine after you're numb, it doesn't bother you after a while. And they're getting little rides, but they're real quick and short. There's the lighthouse there, and you can just barely make out the interpretive center. The lighthouse trail is closed because they're doing some work on the lighthouse grounds. So hopefully next time we're here it'll be open. But this is a big difference from yesterday. Basically the tide's out, so the ocean is much flatter. But there they go. What happened to him? Where is he? Oh, there he is. See if these guys catch another one. This is January. That water is not warm. In fact, it barely changes temperature year round. Probably in the mid-40s. Here comes one. We'll see if they catch this. Oh, they wait way too long. Even when I body surf, I know to get going when you see that wave coming. Oh, they missed two great ones. Maybe the guys are just goofing off. I would have been turned around and paddling like hell to get right up on the crest. Oh, he did it. Nah, they're too slow. Oh well. Maybe they're just having fun. They don't seem to be seriously surfing. Anyway, we got a big sea cave there and another sea cave right there. Wonder what came out of there. We got two raccoons down here on the beach kind of checking things out. I don't know if he saw me or not. He's standing up looking at me. They're just looking for something to eat. Checking out the goodies, anything the tide brought in lately. Hi guys. They must have a little den or something around here. They're sure watching me. Hi there. How you guys doing? I'm not going to go any closer. Raccoons are known to carry rabies, and they are very feisty. My dogs have caught a few in the backyard, plus opossums, and man, do they make a hell of a lot of noise when they're pissed. Yeah, they're just saying, "Who's that? Who's taking our video?" Well, I think I'll leave them be. They're just looking for a free lunch. I don't want them coming over here thinking I'm going to feed them. So, see you later, guys. And just like many other state parks along the Washington coast, we're kind of out here in the marshlands. Yeah, it's wet. Wet on the coast. Of course, Kate don't care. She just sleeps through it. Here's a little turnoff with lots of Lewis and Clark history and a trail leading up to the top of that hill, which is deceiving because what you see is a false summit. It goes up, around, and higher than that. But that is Mackenzie Head, where Lewis and Clark climbed up to survey the Pacific coast once they had reached the Pacific Ocean. and they camped nearby. Here's the other side of the monument. I hope you can read it. The sun's shining on it now. Just pause and read the history here. Here's the other side of it. And we'll walk up here to these signposts, and we have a very nice signage about where we're at, the different capes and places that Lewis and Clark had explored while here. And we'll go over here, and this is about them hiking up to the top of what they called Mackenzie Head, and their fantastic view of the Pacific Ocean, north and south. And what I thought was neat, that's the rather steep trail up to the top of Mackenzie Head. I found this old historical photo from 1898 of the area quite amazing, as it shows the drastic changes to this coastline since the arrival of Lewis and Clark in 1805. The completion of the North Jetty in 1917 has caused sand and silt flushed from the Columbia River to build up rapidly in this area and further north, creating a new densely forested wetlands and new ocean beaches. The ocean once broke along a totally different inland shoreline and against the bluffs of Mackenzie Head, where Captain Clark climbed up with a small team to view the Pacific Ocean. The land west of here, between you and the ocean, did not exist then. You stand today in this photo where the ocean waves once washed the beach. Along a trail near here is where they camped along a shoreline and forest that existed back in 1805. Coming up the trail to the top of Mackenzie Head, there's interesting structures hidden in the woods here from World War II, probably. Let's go back and check some of these out. It's this. This is interesting. Kind of spooky looking. Huh. Who knows what this place was? Could have been some kind of barracks. Hard to say. No notation of anything. That one big tree there kind of wiped it out. But yeah, a lot of leftover history from World War II. Climbing up the steep trail from the Mackenzie Head parking area, we come to the top. You'd see there was a huge artillery gun here and quite an extensive underground bunker that is very big inside. I should have brought a flashlight because it is dark and it goes a long, long way down there with many rooms on the side. I'll have to bring my flashlight next time. But out here in the sun, let's go see what the view from Mackenzie Head looks like. That must have been a heck of a big artillery gun there protecting the beach. And we'll go over, check this one out first. And this is where river meets the ocean. You can see Astoria, where we are on the map, the Pacific coast, and the Columbia River emptying into the ocean. And then over here you have a map from Lewis and Clark and how well their map back in the 1800s copy the modern map. And it says, on the afternoon of November 18th, 1805, Captain William Clark and his party hiked to the top of this hill. They stood near this viewpoint, gazing with astonishment over the vast Pacific. What did Clark and his party see? Looking to the west, they could have seen as far as 16 miles out to sea. Looking to the north, Clark described the coast as open for a short distance. Back, then it becomes thick. Pine, courtney, interspersed with ponds. We'll look out here to the Pacific. Far over there you see one of the jetties sticking its long finger out into the ocean. We'll say goodbye to Mackenzie Head and the World War II embankments, and Lewis and Clark head back down to the wagon. Back at the base of Mackenzie Head, let's walk across the street to a trail where the old shoreline used to be and look for signs of Lewis and Clark's camp. Their campsite was in this area that was once the Pacific Beach. Now it's a swampland. Well, we have a Pacific storm supposedly coming our way here in another day or two. That's bringing in lowland snows. So as much as I'd like to stay here longer, I think I'd better play it safe and head inland. I think I'll walk back to the girls who want to go back to the campsite and be let out and have lunch. Okay. After returning to our camp spot and after watering and feeding the dogs, it was Kate's turn for a walk on the beach. Taking Kate for a walk on the beach on the 25-foot lead. She already found a stick to play with. We're walking north on the beach. Gonna go check up this cove up here, see what's up around the bend. Kate, you ready to go for a walk? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Gonna take your stick? All right, let's go. Good girl. Oh, you gonna drop it? Okay, you probably want me to pick it up and throw it. All right, I better do that. We brought down her sister, Sarah, earlier, and Sarah's a handful. Sarah sees birds, and boy, she'll go right into the waves to catch them. Kate's a lot more personable. Okay, Kate, I'm going to put the camera away and then we'll play, all right? Okay. Just looking at the ocean debris that's been forced up into the woods here. Pretty impressive. What you doing, Kate? Where's your stick? Did you drop your stick? Your stick's back here, girl. Oh, you lost interest. Okay. Well, we're going to keep walking down here and see what's around the bend. And it seems like a lot of driftwood's just forced right up into this cove, and it's stacked high and deep. Then we got one huge log just perched up there on the rock. And a point that sticks out. So this kind of really makes a bit of a U-shaped cove here where everything's forced in by the waves and wind. What do you think of that, huh, Kate? Huh? Kate says, wow, this is interesting. So we're going to head back. And looks like we might have a fantastic sunset this night, too. That'd be great. Ready, girl? Well, another fantastic winter sunset on the Washington coast here at Cape Disappointment State Park, the southern tip of Washington State. We've lucked out and had several days of sun and clear weather. People are walking around here scratching their heads wondering what month this truly is, because this is highly unlikely. Well, we'll pack up tomorrow morning, take off, and head to points unknown. Stay tuned for more adventures on Doggone RV'n Travels with My Girls.